Welcome. You're on the Fringe show. I'm your host, Tatiana Zalan, and I go live every Friday at 2 p.m. Dubai time. The Fringe helps you to understand the rapidly changing world and increase the odds of your success. Here we discuss technology, startups, and mental models of successful people so that you too can take advantage of the opportunities in the new digital world. Over and over again, at the beginning of the year, we're asking ourselves, what's the next big thing in the tech world and business more generally? Some suggest it's crypto. If you ask the crypto community, it's always crypto and blockchain. And some people are saying it's Web 3.0. Others saying it's creator economy, it's passion economy, it's ownership economy, and so on and so forth. This is my 30th episode, and I'm decided to answer the question, probably, or just explore the question, really, the question that every business should be asking themselves in 2022, and that's to Metaverse or not to Metaverse. Metaverse is perhaps the hottest buzzword in the business world today. Ever since June 2021, when Mark Zuckerberg announced Facebook's transition to become a Metaverse company and bold plans about this transition, brands both big and small started to reevaluate their business models and marketing strategies. Is Metaverse ushering new ways of selling and shopping? Is it part of digital transformation? Is it an experiment? Is it a passing fad? In this first part of this show, I will focus on the new business models and opportunities offered in the Metaverse. There will be also a second part of the show where we'll be looking at the current limitations and whether businesses should indeed jump on this bandwagon. So this, I think, is particularly useful for entrepreneurs, marketers, and brands, large and small, or maybe just out of curiosity, you're curious about what Metaverse is. Let me remind you, it's a live show, and whatever you're going to listen to here is not financial advice, it's not business advice of any sort. All I'm doing on the Fringe show is for informational and educational purposes only. So let's get started. What is a Metaverse? What is Metaverse? I have a special show dedicated to Metaverse some time ago. You can browse all the links and you will see that I've had a special show on Facebook and its transition to Metaverse, there we discuss some of the definitions and characteristics of the Metaverse. So I won't do that again in any detail, but it's probably good for just as a general background to start how the man himself, the CEO of Facebook, or now Meta, Mark Zuckerberg, describes the Metaverse. And to him, it's the successor to the mobile internet. You can think about the Metaverse, he thinks, as the embodied internet, where instead of just viewing content, you are in this content. So it's a very immersive experience. There's other executives that see the Metaverse as a catch-all term for the increasingly digital world that we live in. We shop there, we play, we socialize in this world. From the mainstream social media platforms and established online gaming world to the emerging cryptocurrency market and growth in shared VR experiences, it's all Metaverse. So the Metaverse is where our real world physical self interacts and immerses with digital worlds. Epic Games CEO Tim Sweeney highlights how different brand experiences are going to be when you get into the Metaverse. And this is what he says: if you're a car manufacturer, your brand presence in the Metaverse isn't going to be a bunch of advertising for your cars. It's going to be a place where you can actually drive the cars around and feel the experience of it. I guess one of the questions that everybody else is asking right now is, when will it happen and how fast will it be? Well, it's already there. We're seeing the acceleration of the trends that were brought about by the pandemic, things like VR, ER, social media, gaming, of course. We've seen that all before, but also here is the NFTs coming in, non-fungible tokens. We see crypto coming in, and that's this accelerated convergence of these various technologies that's driving the Metaverse. This year, we will see the acquisitions of gaming companies and also IPOs of gaming companies. It's all part of this trend. We've seen the emergence of the so-called direct-to-avatar business model, and this is what I'm going to talk about in a minute, but also play-to-earn model. But there are still some frictions. I will talk about the frictions and the consumer uncertainty, technical uncertainty, maybe some legal implications in the second part of this show. But now let's focus just on the opportunities. Tim Sweeney of Epic Games, the CEO, is very, very bullish. This is what he's saying. He's saying that the emergence of the metaverse will be a linear evolution. He doesn't believe it will be very disruptive as a technology, but it's going to be a meeting place for individuals and creators of all sizes, including brands. And every company will be there at some point. So what he's emphasizing is that businesses, it's really part of your digital transformation, and businesses need to actively engage with the metaverse as part of their future, if you will. So let's have a look at some of the general opportunities, and then we'll get into some of the specifics. Firstly, there is a belief that metaverse will change the future of commerce, of course, e-commerce, and it will be a revolution in advertising. While online purchasing and delivery have been the new norm since the pandemic, the metaverse will actually fasten and hasten this trend. Consumers will no longer be required to visit physical stores in order to check out new products before making a purchase, because they will be able to do that from the comfort of their own home, thanks to VR and AR. The metaverse will allow for more participatory, immersive in-store experiences. It will also be a revolution in advertising. The metaverse represents this shift from traditional advertising towards brand experiences that are more engaging, more interesting, and less intrusive, at least according to some, than when we actually see in digital advertising right now. Digital alone isn't enough. It needs to be engaging, it needs to be meaningful and immersive. And this is exactly what the metaverse will do for the brands in not so distant future. Now let's have a look at other opportunities. I mentioned already this so-called direct-to-avatar economy, or the direct-to-avatar model. It's a big thing. It's another buzzword at the moment. Forbes has written recently about it. So what's happening? Designers, brands, and celebrities, all of them realize that future consumers are online. They have their digital identities in games and virtual handouts. Not handouts, but hangouts, right? In order to market to future consumers, they need to meet them where they are, and that's at this point in time is the metaverse, or maybe it's Fortnite, or maybe it's Roblox. They're all of these multiplayer games. So, what is this direct-to-avatar business model, or D2A? It refers to an emerging business model that is selling products directly to avatars or digital identities, bypassing all the supply chain management issues like drop shipping, logistics, how to get this physical product to a physical store or a consumer's door. I've just recently visited a very interesting digital-only fashion house. It's called The Fabricant, and the Kerry Murphy, who is the CEO of The Fabricant, describes this economy as made up by what he calls digisapiens. I think he's coined this term, digisapiens, and according to him, there are 3.5 billion of these digisapiens around the world at the moment, and they have more than 50% of total spending power. They're made of Gen Z and young millennials, and they've grown up blurring this reality and fantasy, the digital world, the physical world, and the virtual world is essentially becoming their second home. Digisapiens are early adopters of technology, and they're early adopters of any technology that frees up their existence and upgrades their existence. They also care about their environment, scarcity, authenticity, and exclusivity. Digital fashion houses in particular and clothing brands are trying to solve this problem. And there is a good quote that's coming from Samantha Wolf, who is the founder of Pitch. FWD, also adjunct professor at New York University. She's describing consumer behavior of Gen Zers. Gen Z consider their digital avatars an extension of themselves. This generation loves individuality and challenges social constructs. So it makes sense that they spend as much time online in virtual worlds that want to represent themselves uniquely. This might start as buying branded goods and clothing, especially ones that connect them to them authentically. However, it offers a huge opportunity for a new kind of fashionable expression and a new kind of designer that's only possible in the metaverse. Who is doing it? What are some of the examples of the brands that are actually doing direct-to-avatar models? Particularly fashion brands, and I would say probably luxury auto brands are very fast and early adopters of this new business model. Fashion brands are increasingly starting to release digital collections in that mode. Ralph Lauren, for example, released a 50-piece digital clothing collection in August 2021, available for purchase in social networking app. American Eagle announced a digital collection for Bitmoji avatars in July 2021. As you can see, these companies are partnering with either other companies, other tech companies, and other apps. Gucci and the North Face released a joint collection of avatars for Pokemon Go in January 2021. In March last year as well, Gucci released virtual sneakers that can only be worn with AR using technology developed by another corporation. The digital fashion house, The Fabricant, that I already mentioned, they have partnered with brands like Adidas and Puma and Tommy Hilfiger to virtualize their garments. Luxury automakers are also there. They're starting to release virtual versions of their vehicles, and that's Maserati, Aston Martin, Tesla did that. They launched their virtual models in Tencent's Game for Peace. So they're collaborating with the big digital giant from China, Tencent. They've done that between 2020 and 2021. Rolls-Royce is also there. They also partnered with Tencent and unveiled their first virtual car in 2020 with QQ Speed. The Fabricant's CEO, Kerry Murphy, predicts that the future consumerism lies in virtual products. He's saying that people are starting to see value in digital items and realize that they'd rather interact with a digital item or have an infinite wardrobe of digital clothing, digital items, but a very limited wardrobe of physical items. Now, where else are the opportunities, more specifically? In video games. Video games give businesses a chance to test the social aspects of the metaverse without having to worry about much of the technical requirements. So Roblox, Animal Crossing, and Fortnite, multiplayer games, they let users design outfits, host other plays on the custom-made islands or universes. They hang out without the expectation of traditional gameplay. That's made them interesting experimenting grounds for brands. And this is why brands are collaborating so much with these games. The key insight here is that gamers, as some surveys show, are very open to seeing brands and games, but it's important to ensure that the product is actually relevant to the game. There are also paid partnerships that are blossoming, and one of the examples here is that Gucci Garden experience on Roblox, where users could explore a dreamy landscape and purchase or win virtual Gucci bags for their avatars, and that has achieved stellar results. More than 4.5 million items were won in the first 2 weeks for which the campaign was run at the point. Other opportunities are coming from XR, mixed reality, AR, and VR. Extended reality as well as virtual reality and augmented reality, give brands a chance to explore the technological aspect of the metaverse at various levels. AR is perhaps the easiest to start with. It's one of the most popular and accessible metaverse-adjacent marketing tool. Nearly all social media platforms have some sort of AR filter built in. VR can build far more immersion, but getting the best experience, of course, requires quite an expensive headset, so not everybody is willing to go for it. The key insight here is that the biggest opportunities in AR are still in social, and just some numbers here. Out of more than 100 million AR users this year, according to one estimate, last year, about half will access AR through social media. So half of will do it through social media. There are plenty of examples of other brands that are successful with AR filters as a marketing tool, and this is solving for the moment the technical aspect of the metaverse. But the problem is that often don't have a social element. And meanwhile, the pandemic also spurred an increase in brands creating virtual storefronts. Fashion and beauty brands like Dior and Lancome and NARS, they've all built virtual flagship stores that users can explore using their VR headsets or their phones. For now, most consumers will use their phones rather than VR headsets, but at least it's beginning. But according to many observers, if businesses are building VR space, they will be well prepared for the metaverse, which is just around the corner, according to many. I was really curious to see what kind of money is being exchanged for these virtual goods and services. And fortunately, there is some very good and comprehensive report that's just been published by Wunderman Thompson, that's a consulting company, and it's called Into the Metaverse. Very comprehensive report, and they do say consumers are spending. So this is directly from their report. A price tag of $9,500 may seem exorbitant for a dress that doesn't exist in the physical world, but consumers are assigning high value to digital possessions. Global consumers say that on average, a digital house is worth over $76,000, an original piece of art is worth about $9,000, and a digital designer handbag is worth over $2,900. Brands are already starting to see the repercussions of this. In February 2021, NFT marketplace RTF KT sold 600 pairs of digital sneakers in just 7 minutes, generating 3.1 million in sales. In June 2021, a digital-only Gucci bag sold on Roblox, and I already mentioned about this initiative, well, that sold for over $4,000, which is more, interestingly, than the physical bag costs. On Eglet, a mobile shopping game where users can buy rare sneakers from brands including Chanel, Nike, and Balenciaga, one user has spent $15,000 on virtual shoes. So clearly, a lot of consumers are willing to do that, right? How many we will still see in the second part of the show. And here just some of my parting thoughts. Metaverse, however you define it, might be the next evolution of the internet. It's not clear yet. There's a lot of uncertainty still, but it's probably likely. It's a bunch of technologies. It's not just one technology. So metaverse is just a catch-up phrase for everything VR, AR, and crypto, and NFTs, and social, and gaming, and so on. Should businesses do metaverse? It looks like the opportunities are really there, but the frictions are there as well. And this is what's going to be in the second part of the show. Well, thank you for joining me today, and I shall see you on the Fringe next Friday at 2 p.m. Dubai time, where we'll be talking more about whether you or your business should metaverse. Thank you again. Time for some music.